It having reached the hour of 5:30, I am calling the November 14th, 2023 Modesto City Council meeting to order and ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Wright.
Here.
Councilmember Scudilla-Brayton. Here. Councilmember Alvarez.
Here.
Vice Mayor Ricky.
Here.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Here. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation from Joshua Hamilton from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this day that Thou hast given us and the opportunity to hold this Modesto City Council meeting. We're thankful for the time Thou dost give us and the space to do so. And we're thankful for the diligence of all of our leaders and for the blessings Thou dost give to us. We ask Thee to please bless us with inspiration and with clarity of mind so we can address the issues that are present, and also to have clarity of mind to know of ways to improve. And we ask you to please bless the members of the board, the council members, and also all those who lead us, that we will all be able to learn from them and to give ideas and also receive ideas. We ask you to please bless everyone here today, that we'll all be safe and be able to learn from today. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Does the city clerk have any announcements?
Yes, Mayor. Just a reminder, public comment is 3 minutes, and there's blue speaker cards at the entrance of the chambers.
Thank you. Do any of the council members have any conflicts of interest?
And Mayor, maybe I'll handle this one. For items 8, 9, 10, and 11, those involve the ordinances from the last council meeting. Those are the second readings under consent. If you recall, for this item, the mayor, Councilmember Williams, and Councilmember Wright have property-related conflicts of interest, meaning that their property is either being rezoned or close to properties that are being rezoned, so recusal will be needed. Because it's a consent calendar, unless it gets pulled, the council members may remain here. You just couldn't vote.
All right. Thank you. Item 1. Proclamation declaring November 12th through 18th, 2023 is United Against Hate Week in the City of Modesto. I will read the proclamation. The City of Modesto stands for diversity, inclusivity, and respect for all, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, gender, sexual orientation, disability, or any other characteristic. And we reject hate, discrimination, and violence, aiming for a prejudice-free community. We collectively promote acceptance, respect, tolerance, and unity, enabling residents to live, work, and thrive without fear. And united, we strengthen and celebrate our city's rich tapestry of cultures and perspectives. And the United Against Hate Week campaign embodies our collective commitment to foster an environment where every resident can live, work, and flourish without fear of hatred. And we support the mission to combat hate, prejudice, and intolerance such as xenophobia, anti-Semitism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, anti-Muslim hatred, and other bigoted views, and we encourage communities to report hate incidents. And now, therefore, I, Sue Zwellen, Mayor of the City of Modesto, do hereby proclaim November 12th through 18th, 2023 as United Against Hate Week, and encourage all residents, businesses, schools, and organizations to unite against hate, join events, and champion inclusivity, tolerance, and unity. This evening, we have Gladys Williams here to accept the proclamation, and she is the Education Committee Chair with the NAACP. Welcome, Gladys.
I want to thank the city for your support and supporting United Against Hate Week. This is a national observance this week, and I am very proud to have our city support us in this event so that we can all work to unite together to have brotherly and sisterly love for one another. Thank you again for your support. I also bought extra posters today for People United Against Hate that I would like to leave with you. And you guys can distribute them in any way you wish. And if you need more, we have more to give you.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any comments from council members at this time? Seeing none, thank you for being here this evening. Oh, excuse me. All right, Councilmember Williams.
I want to thank you, Gladys, for always stepping up for the causes, particularly not in our town. I know there was an event that took place on Sunday. I was unable to be there, but my daughter was. And your continual support for this community in stomping out hate, we appreciate that.
All right, I will now bring the proclamation down and present it. Next, we have a proclamation declaring November 25th, 2023 as Small Business Saturday, and I will read the proclamation. The City of Modesto recognizes the vital role that small businesses play in creating jobs, boosting the local economy, and fostering a sense of community. And small businesses are the backbone of our community, contributing to its unique character and providing diverse products and services. And Small Business Saturday is a nationwide initiative that encourages consumers to support local businesses and entrepreneurs on the Saturday following Thanksgiving. And by supporting small businesses, we strengthen our community, encourage economic growth, and promote job creation. And the City of Modesto wishes to celebrate the contributions of small businesses and express gratitude for the entrepreneurs and innovators who enhance our local economy. And now, therefore, I, Suze Wallen, Mayor of the City of Modesto, do hereby proclaim November 25th, 2023 as Small Business Saturday and encourage all residents and visitors to support local businesses, both on this day and throughout the year. We today have Trish Christensen, President and Chief Executive Officer from the Modesto Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Trish.
Thank you. Thank you, Council. It is my honor to be here to represent the greater business community for the greater Modesto region. From our smallest and tiniest businesses, crafting at home, standing up and presenting at Mod Shop, on up from there, shop local, support local. It all comes back to elevate our community. So thank you. It's my honor to be here.
All right, you're welcome. Do we have any remarks from council members? Jeremiah Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Trish, for being the CEO of the Modesto Chamber of Commerce and not only just supporting businesses, but linking the community to the business and the business to the community, which is very helpful because the buck really should stop here locally, and we need that to happen. So thank you for all your hard work and everything you do.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for being here this evening, and I will now bring the proclamation down and present it.
Thank you.
All right, item 3, presentation from the Municipal Information Systems Association of California, MISAC, to the City of Modesto for the 2023 MISAC Excellence Award for Best Practices in Information Technology and the 2023 MISAC Innovation Award for the city's implementation of worldly real-time translation services. So we have Gaurav Garg, the CIO for the City of Santa Clara, welcome to Modesto, and member of the State Board for the Municipal Information Systems Association of California. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor Zwalan, council members, city manager. It's my pleasure to be here today. Actually, for the second time, back to back, I was here around the same time last year. My name is Gaurav Garg, and I am the Chief Information Officer with the City of Santa Clara. But today I have the pleasure of representing MISAC, the Municipal Information Systems Association of California, and its state board. MISAC is a statewide organization with membership exceeding 1,800 information technology professionals representing 360 cities and special districts. The association was founded in 1980 to promote effective and efficient municipal government use through cooperation via its 4 pillars of education, member resources, relationships, and advocacy. The Excellence in IT Practices program is one such resource, and it's a recognition program designed to foster and distinguish outstanding IT service delivery and governance practices. It requires the submission of a detailed questionnaire examining practices across 12 key subject areas containing over 100 questions. Evaluation criteria are updated every year to incorporate new standards and practices holding applicants to the highest standards, and evaluations are scored and, depending on their merit, may receive one of 2 levels of award. The Achievement Award, signifying the agency meets standard best practices, while the much tougher Excellence Award signifies the agency's practices exceed local government standards. On behalf of MISAC, it is my distinct pleasure to recognize Scott Kahn, Chief Information Officer, and his management team, Kevin Harless, James Dodson, Phil Calbreth, and Lori Lee Edel, and present the City of Modesto with MISAC's highest award for excellence in information technology practices. This is the 8th time the City of Modesto has won this Excellence Award, but only the 2nd time in the last 10 years. Of the many agencies that applied this year, only 18 California agencies received the Excellence Award. But wait, there's more. The City of Modesto IT team also won MISAC's Innovation Award for their implementation of real-time translation services for City Council meetings using Wordly and Zoom. To win 1 award is prestigious. To win 2 awards in the same year is amazing. So congratulations to Modesto's IT team, You are the silent heroes working behind the scenes and on the forefront, making Modesto a better, stronger, smart city through information technology. Mayor, I now present these awards to you, along with the Modesto City Council, the City of Modesto, and Scott's Information Technology team. Congratulations once again, and thank you.
All right, thank you so much for being here, and to the team. All right, do we have any comments at this time from council members? Councilmember Escutia-Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Garg, for that presentation and for presenting our team, our Modesto team, with these awards. It really speaks to the testament of Mr. Scott Kahn. Through his leadership, he has run an absolute stellar team of IT professionals, and it's second to none. And it also speaks to the testament of our city manager who hired Mr. Khan. And his exemplary leadership in IT has saved the integrity of our city, as is public. Our city was compromised some months ago, but through the professionalism of our IT team, we were able to mitigate that at the earliest level possible and saved invaluable intelligence. So again, I'm very proud to be part of this team that has just excellence in IT industry, which is rare. So thank you everyone for recognizing that.
All right, Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a hard time navigating my smartphone, much less the things that they do. And I'd like for them to stand, all of your team. I see them on this row, and be recognized and turn to the audience. Wow, look at that army. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, Vice Mayor Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. Like Councilmember Williams, I have a hard time just keeping track of my phone, let alone dealing with IT stuff. But I do feel just like we've got an incredible IT staff, and I remember we had a cyber attack several months ago, and Modesto was ready, and because of the hard work you guys did, we came out of it really well, and I'm proud of this department. Good job.
All right. Is that it? All right. Would you like for us to join you to receive the award? All right. We will join you. All right, next on the agenda is item 4, Consider accepting the resignation of Alexandra Von Stade from the Measure H Oversight Board. Does council have any questions of staff? Seeing none, I'll open this up to the public. Any members of the public that would like to speak regarding item 4? All right, seeing none, I will close public comments. Council, any comments? Seeing none, I will call for a motion, a resolution accepting the resignation of Alexandra Von Stade from the Measure H Oversight Board.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Councilmember Wright. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Escutia-Brayton. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Escutia-Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item 5, consider appointing Aaron Black to the City of Modesto Planning Commission with a partial term expiring December 31st, 2024. Does council have any questions from staff regarding item 4? Seeing none, I'll open this up to the public. Item 4, is there any members of the public that would like to comment on this item? I will close public comments. Any comments from council?
Mayor, I think that's item 5.
Excuse me, item 5, excuse me. Comments from council members. Seeing none, I have a resolution appointing Aaron Black to the City of Modesto Planning Commission with a partial term expiring December 31st, 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Who made the motion? Oh, Councilmember Bavaro. Second by Councilmember Williams. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Escutia-Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye, carries unanimously. Congratulations. As noted on the agenda, public comment will be in person only. Zoom will still be available for viewing and wordly translation. Does anyone wish to speak on any item under public comment? This is for items not on the council agenda. Each person has 3 minutes to speak. I have several cards, so I will read the names in the order that I received them. First, we have Rebecca McDaniel. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. The morning of Thursday, November 9th, I found out my daughter's friend, who is deaf, was homeless, which hurt me because my daughter's deaf. I reached out, not knowing what to do. I reached out to Jim Fair, who is a friend of mine who also does a lot of service for the homeless. And he directed me to Steve Finch from the SHARE program. Steve directed me to the CHAT program. We met with Christina from CHAT after I got off work. My daughter's friend was placed in a safe shelter at home that evening, a place where he felt safe. This was all done through text messages until we finally met up with Christina. The process was extremely smooth and very helpful. I couldn't have planned this, but I mean, it was amazing. All the hands involved and how it just went. I am very grateful for these programs. Because my daughter's friend is deaf, he was an easy target on the streets. So, thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing that. Next, I have Zafir Solomon.
Good evening. Last week you guys voted on a bridge housing program, which I support every program that you can do to get people off the street to a safe place. But I do want to say I think it's too little, and unfortunately it's going to be too late for some people that are going to spend another year on the street during the winter months. Because this program not going to start for probably 6 more months, and according to what you talked about, it's even not a sure thing. You still need to find the places and the organization. So I think it's, like I said, a little bit, it's too little, because what is 30 spaces on 700 people? And too late, because every person that's not going to make another winter on the street, it's too late. And so I think you guys not willing to understand when people ask you for safe place for the homeless on the street, you have crisis on the street in Modesto, and you're not willing to accept it. And you're taking your time, and like I said, you have crisis on the street. It's amazed me when we have earthquake on the other side of the war or some kind of crisis, we can put million people in a tent city over there in a matter of days. But here in our own country, we can't save our own people. You know, it's amazing. 21 leaders of states coming to San Francisco this week for a couple days, and the governor cleaned the city like never before, put all the homeless people in hotels, and no problem. You know, why we can't do it for the people, worried about the people, not about whoever coming from China, whoever coming from France, our own people, which a lot of them are veterans, a lot of them. Fought for this country and going to die on the street, you know. And one more thing I want to say, the lady just mentioned Steve Finch from Shell. Let me tell you, you guys need to sit with Steve Finch and talk to him. Because if there is somebody who can teach you about the situation on the street and what needs to be done, it is Steve Finch. Thank you.
You're welcome. Derek Castle.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members, staff. I guess I'm here to back up a little bit what that gentleman just said. I applaud what the city has done in terms of moving ahead with bridge housing. I'm very excited about that. But of course, it is unlikely that's going to happen this winter. And last week, when I was supporting bridge housing, I made it clear that we really need to have a winter plan in place. I applaud what the council did last week as well in supporting the Modesto Gospel Mission in opening up their chapel and allowing the women to sleep on the floor there at the chapel. I think that's an amazing thing that's being done. And of course, women are very vulnerable out on the streets. However, as you know, 70% of the ones out on the street or more are men, and we don't have a plan at the moment for them, what we're going to be doing this winter. Not just for them, for couples as well. We do have in Modesto what we call warming zones that for unsheltered folks, so that during the day at least, they can go to somewhere where it's warm, there's heating there. But in the late afternoon, early evening, we ask them to leave, to go out into the cold, and we lock the doors. Unless we act, we're going to have a lot of folk this winter sleeping out in the cold. I presented to you all in this last week a proposal that I think is quite simple and very inexpensive, and that is to have a warming zone at night as well as during the day. Just some floor space for them to sleep like they're going to be doing at the Gospel Mission. Where it is not a big deal. It just needs to be floor space. This would be a great place actually, but I'm sure there'd be a lot of better places than this. Unlike the Gospel Mission, there's going to be no need for food, no need for case managers. We just need someone who's going to be a supervisor just to make sure everything's going okay. Unsheltered folk are going to be at risk at night from hypothermia and frostbite. We need to do something and do it urgently. Basically, I just have one question, if I might ask, Mayor, and are the city staff at the moment looking into the possibility of a nighttime warming zone or another winter plan?
Since this is not an interactive conversation at this time, we'll take that into consideration, and we will get that information to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Diane?
It's like a snake. Greetings, folks. I'm sort of a backup to the backup. Yeah, you know, we're talking about people here, and we're talking about very cold weather. It's below 50s now, okay? And I think it's really a big problem when the city you live in says, wait a couple of months before before the bridge housing even gets really started. So you know what's going to happen in between. The best you can do is that. That's not much. What happens in between? Well, we know that. They're probably going to die or get sick and sicker. The homeless just disappear? No. You offer warming centers in the heat of the day, and you forget that the nights are much colder. It doesn't make any sense at all to anybody that thinks about it. It does rain day and night also. We really haven't seen your real plan except in pieces. Bridge housing, chat's a good thing, yes, I bet not very many people doing that. And yeah, there's 700 people out there, folks. What is your plan? Will it help all 700 homeless now? Will you help them now? Will it help? Give us your overall plan instead of little pieces here, because I don't see anything cohesive, coordinated. If you want to help people, don't you? Please show it. You express great disdain for safe camping without a trial, though it is much cheaper than everything you've come up with so far. It's more in line with the process of helping and quicker. The safe parking has a chance for success because the rules aren't for people with little or no money. You'll shut it down as a failure because you made it so. Even the hours are strange. 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. It takes gas to move a car. It takes money. Where do they park in between? In front of a house or a business? Who does that help? You could require current registration, also insurance maybe, and current driver's license, sure. No money. Public city parking allows me and anybody else to go in, and all they have to do is pay for the time. Why is the difference? Tell me. Yeah. What do you count as a success for the homeless? The number of people in rooms with a roof? Isn't it better to call it a success when people are helped off the streets and on the way to living a normal life like into a job, and have gained self-esteem back? They aren't just numbers, they are breathing humans who have been buried under the lack of success we call progress. And they broke under the strain. And for you guys to sort of sidestep all that and think that bridge housing is going to take care of everything and motels, I think you're very, very wrong. And like the gentleman before me, Mr. Solomon, they're going to die. And you can think about that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, Mauro Vargas.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is actually Marcelo Vargas, and I would like to briefly discuss the upcoming renovation at the Cesar Chavez Park. While I'm very excited of the plans that are in place, speaking for the lowrider community in general, we would like to have some input on the plans, so we'd like to request a meeting with the Planning Commission so we can not only help the park be a more attractive location for the community, but also not forget the history of that park, because it does play a significant role in the community, and it does have a historical significance in the city of Modesto. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next is Dolores.
Yes.
Okay.
Oops, I think I need a... Hi, my name is Dolores Chacon. I'm president of UFCW Local 186D. I grew up on the west side on 4th Street Park, which was called, now it's Cesar Chavez Park. At that time, they had plenty of parks and recs and the youth center. So we would like to get more involved with the parks director on some of the upcoming ideas that we could have for the park. Growing up there and going there after school to some activities was really a big help. I was on the swim team there, and I was kind of afraid to go against the bigger kids. And one of the coaches pulled me aside and said, don't ever say that you can't compete against somebody bigger than you, or don't ever give up. And that instilled with me until this day, to where I became president of the biggest winery in the world. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, thank you. Next, I have Hillary.
All right. Hi, everyone. Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, and staff. My name is Hillary Moak, and I'm with the Tuolumne River Trust in representation of the All Children Thrive Initiative and the Modesto Park Equity Project. With me today are some of our Park Youth Committee members who are the ones that are leading this project and leading this effort. I would like to begin my remarks by expressing deep appreciation for the city's collaboration with the Park Youth Committee, Tuolumne River Trust, and the All Children Thrive Initiative to create a greater park equity for all residents of Modesto. Park equity is about the creation and maintenance of quality, safe parks that are accessible to everyone across Modesto, fostering community connections and positive recreation. The Park Youth Committee wants to improve parks in a way that caters to the needs of the community and ensures that recreational, physical, and cultural opportunities are offered to all Modesto residents. To achieve this, the Park Youth Committee, Tuolumne River Trust, and All Children Thrive have been working in close collaboration with the Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhoods Department throughout this whole project, and are working to craft a resolution that we hope to bring forth to City Council in the near future. The Park Youth Committee is made up of high school students from different high schools throughout Modesto, ranging from freshmen to seniors. We've had 2 cohorts throughout this project, and this is the representation of some of our second cohort. The foundation of this project was developed by the Park Youth Committee, who analyzed data for 11 of Modesto city parks and selected James Marshall and Robertson Road parks as their priority parks and kind of focus for this project. The Park Youth Committee then gathered in-person observational data and survey responses for James Marshall, Robertson Road, Freedom, and Graceda Park to better understand the current use and functionality of these parks. The purpose of including Freedom and Graceda was to really have a point of reference and comparison data for James Marshall and Robertson Road to really see what these functional and spaces look like and how people were like thriving park spaces look like. Their overall mission is to increase recreation and improving the well-being of children, youth, and adults, which has been the guiding thesis of this project. The Park Youth Committee, Tuolumne River Trust, and All Children Thrive are committed to supporting the city of Modesto in creating vibrant, safe parks for all residents of Modesto and all of our neighboring communities. We would especially like to express our gratitude to Mayor Zwollen, Vice Mayor Ricky, Councilmember Alvarez, and Councilmember Scudia Brayton for their support through this project, along with the Parks and Recreation Neighborhoods Department and the Park Ranger Program with the Modesto Police Department, who have met individually with the Park Youth Committee and kind of help support us through our multi-year project. The Park Youth Committee would appreciate an opportunity to present the full project and information and resolution to the City Council in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Martin Montez. Welcome.
Hello. Hello and good evening, city officials. My name is Martin Montez, and I am a sophomore at Gregory High School, and I actually come to you from the Park Youth Committee, a youth group focusing on park equity through pushing for equal functionality of amenities in the Parks of Modesto as a collective whole. Park Youth Committee has seen, in particular, James Marshall and Robertson Road of what we call our priority parks. Sorry.
It's all right.
An issue and them not receiving the needed foundation that the new parks are receiving, even though the newer parks are not lacking in as many areas. To help navigate through the problem seen, we have created surveys, of which have received more than 200 responses on these parks through the ArcGIS data collection system. This system has allowed for us to realize that people may travel an extra distance to a park that is just a little bit better for the safety of their kids, which should not be an issue. And this is mainly because of overhead lighting, littering, and homelessness, just to name a few, which leads to the development of empty green spaces that have already been built and now take away from the neighborhood's qualities. Along with this, we have been doing public outreach at local events, including but not limited to a presentation at King Kennedy Center and a Modesto Beat interview. And lastly, we have been meeting with city council members to get their opinion on the matter, extending special thanks to the Parks Department, District 1 Advisor Scotty Brayton, District 2 Advisor Eric Alvarez, Vice Mayor Chris Ricky, and Mayor Sue Wallen for taking time out of your busy schedule to hear about this issue and get your opinion on how we should go about doing it in the near future. We also ask that the rest of City Council for the assistance in this mission needed in Modesto. If this is not solved quickly, there are studies that prove that this could have great effect on the people in a neighborhood physically, mentally, and in some cases spiritually. So this is something that should definitely be sought after to amend. We thank you for your work already to focus on this issue and the people it affects, but still noticing that this is a problem Modesto should be noted and acted upon to resolve. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, John Frayling.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, council members and mayor and staff members. Unfortunately, my memory is not as good as it used to be, and I'm going to have to read some of this. This is about housing in Modesto, and I just want to start with something that you probably all know, which is that if you show someone who is in need the best of you, it has a profound impact on that recipient. It means they are worthy, and it gives them a sense of humanity. So I asked myself, I said, what is the best that Modesto has to give to those in need? We decided that safe ground, safe tents, and safe camping was not going to work here. I asked, well, what is going to work? And I said, the city council must have a plan. You may have a plan. I have not heard it yet. I think bridge housing is great. I think it's something that has a tremendous potential. The way that it was set up, it would house about 40 people, which would leave more than 400 people on the streets. That's not going to be adequate for what we need to have done in this city. And so we can't just be satisfied with helping 40 out of over 450. So I'm going to tell you that I'm very interested in hearing what the plan is of the council. And I'm just going to also tell you that there are a lot of people in this community who are willing to help you implement that plan. We are willing to help. We are there. Somebody also mentioned the nights are cold and that we need a place for shelter for a lot of the people as we get more weather coming in. I talked to a friend of mine named Daryl who lives behind one of the businesses in downtown Modesto. And Daryl's house is cardboard around a very small area. And I said, Daryl, how you doing? He said, I'm doing okay. I said, what are you going to do when it rains? He said, well, I have another piece of cardboard. And I said, well, would you go to a place that had like a tent type structure so that you could have some place that you could stay if it's wet and cold? He says, absolutely. We need 24/7 warming. We can do that. I really implore this city to do something to help those people. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else wishing to come forward under public comment for items not on tonight's agenda? All right, welcome.
Well, good evening, Mayor, council members, staff, City of Modesto. My name is Justin Farkas. I have the honor and privilege of representing the office of Assemblymember Juan Alanis. And first and foremost, we just want to thank you guys for your recognition of Small Business Saturday and giving a voice to our small business community here in the city, as well as Trish Christensen, someone that we partner with regularly, and we're very happy to have as a ally and advocate here in the City of Modesto. In that same vein, I want to discuss some of the things that we have coming up through the remainder of the year and going into the following year. First and foremost, Assemblyman Alanis was one of 14 chosen to be a member of the Select Committee on Retail Theft, and which is a special committee held only specifically for this session, kind of looking at the priorities for the next legislative cycle in the 2024 year or calendar year. So that he was chosen by the Speaker, Robert Rivas, to be a member of that committee, one of 2 Republicans on the committee with his background in law enforcement. We're really grateful to have a voice and to see what we can do in the state of California regarding retail theft and in our city of Modesto here. In a similar vein, we also, if you guys remember back in March, we discussed a bill, Assembly Bill 335, which would get the Little Hoover Commission, a think tank up in the Sacramento area who holds regular studies on behalf of the state legislature to look into various issues that are happening throughout our state. That bill was unfortunately held up in the Appropriations Committee. However, we did write a special letter to the Little Hoover Commission, and they were willing to budget for that study themselves. So we're really grateful for that. We had a majority of both houses of the legislature join in on that letter, and because of that, they're going to be holding a study. So there's going to be actually a public hearing kicking off this study. That's going to be Thursday morning at 10 a.m. There's a Zoom link available. I can be sure to send that to you guys. And also through the remainder of the year and the beginning of next year, we're starting to plan out a lot of community events and town halls that we're expecting to have. If you go onto our website, you can sign up for our newsletter and be informed of those. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other public comments for items not on tonight's agenda?
Mayor and Council, I'll be brief. Want to thank you all for...
Would you speak directly into the microphone? There we go.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I'll be brief. I want to thank you all for working with us on Lifting the Ban in California, and want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving and Christmas if we don't see each other before then. Also, I'd like to reiterate Marcelo and Dolores, that came up and spoke about wanting to be a part of the interaction with Cesar Chavez Park. They have great ideas, and I think it would be beneficial for Modesto to reach out to them to allow them to incorporate their ideas. Also, A&W Root Beer. We hope it could be saved. It's a big part of our history. A lot of tourists like to come to Modesto, and that's the things they like to look for because of graffitis, American Graffiti, the movie. They also want to see and partake and relive that part, and A&W is one of that pieces that allows that. So thank you, and you all have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you. All right, we'll take it. Any other comments at this time? All right, next on the agenda is consent items. An item may be removed from consent and discussed at the request of a member of the public or council member. Is there anyone on the council that would like a consent item removed for further discussion? Is there anyone in the public that would like an item removed from consent for further discussion or comment? Seeing none, will the city clerk please read the consent items?
Item 6, consider approving the minutes from the November 7th, 2023 council meeting. Item 7, consider approving final adoption of ordinance 3771 CS, amending sections 10-2.125, 10-2.133, and 10-2.194, adding section 10-2.149.1 to Chapter 2 Definitions, Article 1 Definitions of Title 10, amending Section 10-3.205 of Chapter 3 Land Use Regulations, Article 2 Specific Land Use Regulations, and adding Section 10-3.208.1 to Chapter 3 Land Use Regulations, Article 2 Specific Land Use Regulations of Title 10. Item 8 will be heard by a separate motion to allow for recusals from Councilmember Williams, Councilmember Wright, and Mayor Zwalin. The title of that item is Consider Approving Final Adoption of Ordinance 3772 CS, amending Chapter 7 Other Zones of Title 10 of the Modesto Municipal Code to add Article 6 regarding a mixed-use pedestrian-oriented zone. Item 9 will also be heard by separate motion to allow for recusals from Councilmember Williams, Councilmember Wright, and Mayor Zwalin. Consider approving final adoption of Ordinance 3773 CS, amending Chapter 7 Other Zones of Title 10 of the Municipal Code to add Article 7 regarding a mixed-use highway-oriented zone. Item 10 again will also be heard by separate motion to allow for recusals from Councilmember Williams, Councilmember Wright, and Mayor Zwalin. Consider approving final adoption of Ordinance 3774 CS, amending multiple sections of the zoning map of the City of Modesto to rezone properties located at McHenry Avenue, Sisk Road, Oakdale Road, and Yosemite Boulevard from various zones to mixed-use pedestrian zone and mixed-use highway zone. Item 11 will also be heard by a separate motion to allow for recusals from Councilmember Williams, Councilmember Wright, and Mayor Zwalin. Consider approving final adoption of Ordinance 3775 CS, amending multiple planned zone to allow multiple family residential development in addition to their existing uses. Item 12, consider amending Section 5, Policy Emergency Solutions Grant Program Policies, and adopting Section 19, Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Policies of the Housing and Urban Development Policies and Procedures Manual. Item 13, consider approving a second amendment to increasing the agreement amount with Community Reinvestment Fund USA for continued loan servicing of community development funded loans by $60,000 to a new total amount of $150,000 and extending the term of the agreement from June 30th, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. Item 14, consider accepting the public improvements of Wood Glen Subdivision Village 2 and Wood Glen Subdivision Vision 5 located in an area bounded by Pellendale Avenue, Carver Road, Bangs Avenue, and Tully Road, and releasing securities upon expiration of the statutory periods. Item 15, consider accepting the monthly investment report for July 2023. Item 16, consider amending the annual commercial cannabis permit fee by establishing two types of commercial cannabis permit fees for city-approved businesses. Item 17, consider approving an agreement with Spry Point Services, Inc. at a Charlottetown, Prince Edward for utility billing, receivables, and cashiering software for a total amount not to exceed $2,391,960 over 2 years. Item 18, consider approving an agreement with CityBot, Inc. for professional services and software subscription for a total amount not to exceed $116,030 over 3 years. Item 19, consider an engineering services agreement with Carollo Engineers, Inc. out of Walnut Creek, California for the River Trunk Rehabilitation Phase 1 project at an amount not to exceed $935,000. Item 20, consider approving an engineering services agreement with Carollo Engineers, Incorporated out of Walnut Creek, California for the River Trunk Realignment Pump Station project in the amount not to exceed $2,750,742.
All right, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as read?
Motion to approve all items except for number 8, 9, 10, and 11.
All right, I have a motion by Councilmember Wright. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Alvarez. Will the city clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez-Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwalin.
Aye. The motion carries unanimously. And now I will turn this over to Vice Mayor Ricky.
All right, we've got 4 more consent items to approve, items number 8, 9, 10, and 11. Can we have a motion?
Second.
You call the roll?
Yes. Councilmember Gutierrez-Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky.
Aye.
And Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Yes, it passes. Next on the agenda is council comments and reports. Are there any members of the council that have comments or reports to make? Vice Mayor Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. We've done a lot on homelessness over the last couple of years here. The council has been aggressively generating new programs, including the Community Health and Assistance Team, which is our chat program, Park Rangers, Bridge Housing, the Homeless Day Shelter, and Safe Parking. And one thing that I've learned is that these programs evolve and they grow if they're successful. So our chat team started out with 4 specialists. Today we're budgeted for 12. Our Ranger program started with 4 also. Today it's also budgeted for 12. I appreciate the steps forward we're taking with Bridge Housing, with the Homeless Day Shelter, and with Safe Parking. It's especially heartwarming to hear that recently we were able to house 2 people straight out of our Safe Parking program. And so I'm hopeful that we can work to adjust the rules at the Safe Parking program to get more people connected with the wraparound services through the Salvation Army that are getting people off the street. I mean, the vision is working. If we could just get enough people parking there on a regular basis. So I'm hopeful that we can adjust the rules to make it easier for people to use the service. Let's allow RVs to park there on a regular basis. Let's adjust the hours, and we have the space. And I'm hopeful that we can get the most out of it. Like our other successful programs, like Chat, like Rangers, if we don't make successful adjustments, we'll likely lose the Safe Parking program. And as we've heard tonight, we have a lot of challenges with homeless services, and I just don't think we can afford to move backward. So I'm hopeful that we can keep refining these programs and keep helping people. Thanks, Mayor.
You're welcome. Councilmember Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to add some comments to Councilmember Ricky on the homeless issue and what we're accomplishing. Actually, Bridge Housing, I believe, came about through the models that many of us looked at on Dignity Moves. And Councilmember Ricky and Alvarez and I had taken a good look at that, and in March presented that to the city manager, who moved quite quickly in trying to get to the point where we are right now. And you know, I'm excited about when we start receiving requests for proposals from various service providers, because this model is really going to bring back the dignity to those who are on the streets. And I just would like to say that the city staff, under the leadership of the city manager, have moved quite quickly on this, quicker than I thought, to be honest with you. And so this is a direction that the city is going to go, and I think it will be one of those award-winning things that we see at the state. I think we're going to be setting the example. These things move slow, and I'm one that's not very patient, believe me. But these things move slow, but we're pushing hard to implement. And like I say, I just look forward to having the requests for proposals come back to the council. Thank you, Mayor.
Any other council members that would like to make comments or give a report? Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. On the subject of homelessness and Salvation Army, this week on Thursday at 11:30 is the kettle kickoff. Those that are in the audience and at home, this is a grand opportunity to help the homeless shelter downtown, as well as the Red Shield in South Modesto. We would hope that you would come and be able to donate money. And if you are not able to come this particular Thursday, there should be somewhere, well, it'll be full to capacity. I believe the building holds about 1,000 people, fire marshal size, 1,000 people. And if you can't, we're getting ready to roll out a monthly pledge. We really need to step to the plate as a community, not just a municipality or a nonprofit organization or the state, but everyone being able to put their money where their mouth is, They want to do this and want to do that, but it takes a lot of money. And I wish not only does it take a lot of time, but it takes a lot of money. So we would hope that you would be able to show up to that. It's $20 a person. If you haven't already secured a spot, to call the Salvation Army the first thing tomorrow. But it's Thursday at the Central Plaza. And that's all I have for today, Mayor. Thank you so much.
All right, any other council members? Councilmember Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor. The City of Modesto, I've been saying this for the last several months, but it's important to remind the community of it. The safe rental housing program. So the City of Modesto has recently introduced the rental housing safety program. It aims to ensure the safety and well-being of responsible residents, responsible residents in rental properties throughout the city. It will provide, excuse me, guidelines for landlords to meet safety requirements and conduct regular inspections to ensure compliance. This program will help improve the quality of life of rental housing in our community. The rental housing safety program is a collaborative effort between the City Council, tenant advocacy groups, and various community stakeholders. Since I've assumed office in last November, almost, time flies, a year ago, I've had several meetings with community members, advocacy groups, and the like regarding substandard rental housing. And so this is an ordinance that will combat slumlords, absentee landlords, and the like. And it's not intended to burden landlords, but to ensure that we have a certain standard of rental housing stock in the City of Modesto. And again, I'll reiterate, this is for to ensure that responsible renters are kept safe from mold, pest infestations, and the like. So by working together, Modesto aims to create a thriving and safe rental housing market that benefits both tenants and homeowners. In terms of cruising, Jerry and the cruisers had mentioned some sort of homage being paid to the lowriding culture and history at 4th Street Park. That's it's colloquially known as, right? Cesar Chavez Park is the actual name. But my parents, my uncles, I've heard countless stories of lowriding back in the day, and I am supportive of that idea to try to find out how we can get creative in terms of paying homage to the lowriding culture that really brings together multiple demographic groups, right? You have the Latino community, you have the African American community, the Asian community, all come together and bond over cars. And so I think that's great, being that District 2 is such a melting pot. I said it last week, but I believe that there literally is now a meeting scheduled that we're going to discuss some of these creative ideas. And that could look like some bricks or with carving with initials or names, or benches with names or whatever, right? I don't know how that looks right now, but I don't want to get anybody's hopes up in terms of the actual rendition of the park, because the community engagement portion of that has already taken place. Now, what we can discuss are some creative ideas with the park's plans that are already set. How can we be creative around those plans, right? And so I'm going to enter that meeting with that in mind. Thank you.
All right, I have a few comments to make. Several of us attended an unveiling of some murals that were at the Security Public Storage, which may not seem like anything to necessarily announce, but they celebrate Modesto, and they are all Modesto-centric. They are on Carpenter and Coldwell Avenue, so I encourage any of you to go by. You'll be pleased to see they do capture our American graffiti culture, and we had some classic cars there, or not we, they did, and we were honored to see those cars and the drivers and owners. So it was a great celebration. Some of us did attend the Sikh American Awareness Celebration last Thursday, which was a educational experience to hear from a young woman about her culture and her faith. It was really inspiring to learn more about our fellow residents. Many of us participated in our Veterans Day Parade, which was on Saturday, and the program at Grace Ada Park. The parade was bigger and better than it's ever been, and it was delightful to participate in it and mostly to mention and recognize and spend a day recognizing our veterans. As they've been mentioned several times this evening, they organized the program and the parade, and it was really great to be a part of it. I participated this morning in something that was very unique, and it was the Ruby Bridges Walk and Program. So this morning about 7:15 a.m. we gathered at Thurman Field and walked with the children to Aspire University Charter School. Ruby Bridges was the first African-American child to attend a formerly whites-only school, William Frantz Elementary in Louisiana. And this was on November 14th, 1960, and was captured in a Norman Rockwell painting that some of you may be familiar with. And the reason why it was especially touching to me is the organizers expected a few people there, and hundreds of people were there. So they were overwhelmed with emotion, as you can well imagine, and so I was able to experience that with them and walk with the children. And another thing that occurred to me is Ruby Bridges and I are the same age. So it may seem like a long time ago that happened, but to me it is not a long time ago. I remember being a 6-year-old girl and hearing about this and seeing it on the news in 1960. So this was a great experience, and I understand that there's many schools that this occurred today, and it was just a great experience to be there with them. One last announcement. I see Rosa has some comments to make too, but our beloved Jenny Canoyer's memorial service is this Friday at 11 a.m. at Our Lady of Fatima Catholic Church on Granger Avenue. That concludes my comments. Councilmember Escudia-Breton.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended 2 events this week that fill me personally with much pride. And the one that was attended today, I accompanied the mayor and Councilmember Nick Bavaro to the City of Modesto Police Department's welcome and promotion ceremony, where some of our courageous men and women were recognized. Of honorable mention, our Dan Starr, who used to be a sergeant, was promoted to lieutenant and is also the president of the MPOA. So with much delight, he was recognized for his promotion, as well as Jared Oaxaca and Gerald Bohana were promoted to sergeant. And Lieutenant now Starr made a funny joke indicating that his position, he was left with such big shoes to fill that his position was filled by 2 individuals, now 2 sergeants, and everyone received a chuckle by that. But also we welcome new police officer in training, Nathan Lopez, Trent Kersey, Willie Brewer, and Cesar Grajeda Burgos. All very professional, all very well-trained and well-equipped to take on this new role of protecting and guarding the safety of Modesto residents. So wanted to recognize them. Again, that ceremony really demonstrated the pride and love that our law enforcement has for the city of Modesto. And at a greater level, as the mayor indicated, many of us participated in the Veterans Day Parade. Our very own mayor provided the keynote address to the audience. And when they sang the Star Spangled Banner and just we pledge allegiance to the flag. It again just fills us with pride and love for our community and our nation, and it's great to be part of the process that just honors that that pride of our community and our nation. Thank you.
All right. Next on the agenda is item 21. Excuse me. Does the city manager have any comments and reports?
I do, Mayor. Thank you. I know it's usually a special occasion when I have to speak, and there's a person in the back left corner who's purposely ignoring me right now, but I see you back there, and I'm going to call you out anyway. So I just want to say congratulations to Lori Smith on her 28 years of service with the City of Modesto, currently our Parks and Recreation Director. To say Lori will be missed is an understatement. She has been a tremendous asset to the City of Modesto, and someone I've gotten to know for a very long period of time, and somebody I'm surely going to miss along the way. Her laughter and her ability to make us all smile is something we're definitely going to miss in this organization. So, Lori, we wish you well. Hopefully you don't go too far and you don't forget us as you walk out the door, even though you'd probably say, I'm going to forget you first, Joe. I can hear you already. But seriously, wish you all the best, and thank you for all that you did for the City of Modesto.
Great, thank you. Thank you for your service. All right, next item on the agenda, item 21. Hearing to consider an appeal by Cody Alkire to deny his variance request to permit existing fences and walls that exceed heights allowed by Title 10 of the Modesto Municipal Code and are within the required 7.5-foot street side yard and 15-foot front yard setbacks on property located at 219 North Morton Boulevard. So we will have a staff report.
Great, thank you, Mayor, City Council. Jessica Hill, Director of Community and Economic Development.
You might have to turn it on.
Turn it on. Thank you. Okay.
Click on it.
So we'll start with a little bit of background. That'll be our first slide. But the property is located at 219 North Morton Boulevard and is zoned R1, which is low density residential. Thank you. It is a corner.
Try and talk so we can also hear you out here.
Thank you. So the property is a corner lot with the front yard facing Morton Boulevard and the side street yard facing Lane Street. So on January 27, 2022, the City of Modesto received a Go Modesto complaint from a resident requesting the building division to go and inspect a large brick wall that was being built without engineering or permits over the last 12 months. So 3 days later, on January 10th, the Building Safety Division completed an inspection and verified that the fence was being built without a permit, was taller than the allowable height and likely within the setbacks of the property. And a notice of a violation was mailed on January 11, 2022. During this inspection, it was also identified that work was being done on the house without a building permit. So here's some background photos from January 10th, 2022. Again, you can see that there's a full wall along Morton and along Lane Street. So as more background, there were 3 administrative citations that were issued to the property owner in February and March. And on April 28, 2022, a notice and order was posted on the property. And on May 16, 2022, the property owner appealed the citations. From that date and for the next year, the Building Safety Division interacted with the owner on a minimum of 10 separate occasions to bring the property into compliance. During that year, the property owner had indicated to staff that they were working on plans to bring the property into compliance. As of March 2023, the applicant had not yet submitted plans for a permit nor brought the property into compliance. And so on April 27, 2023, the Board of Building Appeals heard the citation appeal and voted to deny the appeal and directed the owner to appeal to the Board of Zoning Adjustments to submit a variance for the height of the fence as well as the setbacks for where the fence was located. And on May 26, 2023, the property owner submitted an application for the variance. So once the applicant submitted an application for the variance, planning staff visited the property and identified multiple concerns regarding the height and the setbacks. So of this, the fence consisted of a 6.5-foot tall wood and metal fence and 3 concrete masonry units, smooth troweled stucco walls, ranging in height from about 6.3 feet to approximately 9 feet. This is taller than what the code allows, which is 8 feet in height for both backyards and interior side yards. What is also different, it is taller than what the 42 inches or 3.5 feet in height that is allowed for front and side yards. And those are the 2 areas we're speaking about today. So on the inspection that was done on April 27, 2023, here you can see again the fence that was still there and additional work had been done on it since the January 2022 date. So the fence was also within the 7.5-foot side yard setback and within the 15-foot front yard setback of the property. So the fence on Loma Vista Street is approximately 8 feet from the property line or 7 feet within the required 15-foot setback. Additionally, the fences and walls along Lane Street were approximately 3 feet 4 inches from the property line, and all of the walls and fences fronting Lane Street are located within the required 7.5 feet setback. So here show more of the distance of the fence itself from the property line. So for context here, because this area does not have sidewalks, the property line begins approximately 6 feet from the flow line of the gutter. And then here it shows the approximate inches actually away from that flow feet of the gutter in regards to the property line. And so that shows that it's within the required setback. So in order to qualify for a variance, it aligns with both city municipal code as well as state code, and it has to meet all 3 of the following criteria. So the first criteria is there are special circumstances or conditions applicable to the property or buildings in questions which do not exist for the other property or buildings in the same zone and immediate vicinity. The second one is there are special circumstances or conditions that such strict application of these provisions would deprive the applicant of practical use of the property. And then the third one is granting the variance will be consistent with the intent and purpose of the title and will not be detrimental to the neighborhood or public welfare. So in regards to the first condition of the variance is if there's no special circumstances. So when staff went and visited the property, it was, as you guys saw, on a corner lot with the front yard and its street side yard facing Lane Street. Lane Street does have a slope of approximately 10%, which is similar to east and west streets in the neighborhood, and there are approximately 18 different corner lots within the immediate vicinity and only one that is larger. The subject parcel is rectangular in shape and not a unique size or shape. And so what this states is because there's similar lots in the area, it did not meet this first condition. The second one is there are no special circumstances or condition that such strict application of the provisions of this title would deprive the applicant of practical use of their building. And so because this property was developed in 1938, the city does have a special exemption or a change in the code for lots created after July 7th, 1955. So that's kind of the guiding time. So if they're built after July 7th, 1955, they have to have a setback of 15 feet. But lots created before July 7th, 1955, they allow the setback, the street side setback of 7.5 feet. So therefore, all special circumstances have already been addressed in our code and due to the age of the subdivision. The last one is granting the variance will be inconsistent with the intent and purpose of this title and be detrimental to the neighborhood or public welfare. So when we're reviewing variances, all zones requiring a front setback there shall be a clear vision triangle. So what's that saying is we want to ensure that we have a clear vision as cars were to approach that corner. And we did determine that none of the walls are within that clear vision triangle. However, they did build them with a height range ranging from 6.3 feet to approximately 9 feet. And what this would do if we granted this variance, which is similar to many other corner lots in the neighborhood, could be considered special privilege. So just a little bit of a summary is this got brought to staff's attention because of a Go Modesto complaint regarding the concrete masonry wall being built without a permit. This was reviewed by the Board of Building Appeals and referred to the Board of Zoning Adjustments to receive a variance. And again, that's because it was built without engineering plans or a building permit. It was built taller than what's allowed in the municipal code and built within the setbacks of the property. And in accordance with state law and city municipal code, you have to meet the 3 criteria to qualify for a variance, and staff analyzed that this criteria was had not been met. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right. Does council have any questions of staff? Council Member Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. They didn't have permits, or didn't their contractor walk them through the building permit process and the code process?
So when the case was brought to our attention in January 2022,
Did they have a contractor to do this?
we reached out to the property owner and we let them know that this was being done without a building permit. And so we tried to work with them for that year period of time to get them into compliance for a building permit, and they did not do so.
No, I know, but did they have a contractor that was walking them through the process?
I can't speak to that. I don't know. I'm sorry.
All right. Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Jessica. My question is, back on, I think on the 3rd slide, during the inspection, it was also identified that the work was being done on the house without permit. So is this my understanding that they were doing work on the residents themselves, or doing work on the residents plus the fence?
So the Go Modesto, the complaint themselves was just for the fence. And as city staff went to review the fence work that was being done, it was also discovered that work was being done on the property itself without a permit.
Oh, okay, when you say on the property, is that on the structure?
On the structure,
Was
correct.
it just the outside or inside and outside?
Staff believes it was both, and this case is still open and we're working towards resolution.
So they had no permit for working on the structure?
Correct.
And no permit for the wall itself?
Correct.
Okay, and so we don't know if they had a contractor working with them on this?
I do not know, and that's because we usually get that information once a building permit is submitted.
Okay, and my record, just being an insurance broker, I know that if they had a contractor working, the contractor failed to get a permit, then there's some liability issues on the contractor that they could seek legal advice to go after the contractor, because the contractor should have pulled a permit. And the contractor may be in jeopardy of losing their license because they did not pull a permit and doing work in the city without pulling permits. So that would be one of my concerns on the if they did have a contractor, I'd like to know who that contractor was, and if there's anything we can do as a city to take some action against that contractor by not pulling a permit that he should have pulled a permit. And that's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Alvarez.
I yield back my time. My questions were answered in that last comment. Thank you.
All right. Are there any other questions from council members to staff? Seeing none at this time, I will now open the public hearing. Are there any members of the public that would like to come forward regarding item 21? Okay. And each person has 3 minutes.
Give me 2 minutes to walk up here. I knew nothing of this. However, this may be the one that I would like to know definitely. If we have property permits, if we have a property permit to build, are we allowed to build on property lines? That I want to know and definitely need to know, because I know property right here in Modesto that is built on property lines, and I myself have raised Cain for it for years, and it's never been answered. And the lady that's over this tells me it can't be done now but it was done by the city. And these people stated they had permits. And I've now been told that unless a person goes back constantly growling about it, it does no good. So one lady has been, I believe she's the lady that's been talking about this. And if it is, I'm proud of her for it. Because please teach people they're not supposed to build on property lines at all. And if they do, and the city does not do anything about it, there should be some kind of legal thing on it. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, anyone else in the public? Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Brenna Hill. I am neighbors to the house of the Alkire family who talked about this variance. I can't really speak to as far as the codes, as far as building. However, I can speak it to the safety that it has increased in our neighborhood. So I live right next door to the Alkire family on the top of the hill. Typically, before the walls were built, people would fly down that road. There's a stop sign there. However, they would blow past the stop sign. And even the street on the other side, I think Morton Boulevard, people also speed through there. There are speed bumps there to try and deter the speeding. However, it still happens. I myself have 2 young children. The Alkire family has young children. So since the walls have been put in, people are actually stopping at the stop sign now, and it is much safer in that regard. As well as I've also seen multiple people, based on where the location of that home is, because it's on that corner street, they have a lot of people in their yard who are not supposed to be there. Even between the zoning meeting they had and this meeting, there was a woman taking pictures of their house in their yard. We had to call the police, and then they eventually took her away. So this does feel like a big safety issue for our neighborhood, and it feels really important that we support the people in our neighborhood who are trying to make their properties better and increase the quality of our neighborhood. Obviously, homelessness is a huge problem. As we talked about a lot tonight, it's a crisis in Modesto. And it sounds like you guys are doing a lot to try and fix that issue and help the people in our community. However, I think in the meantime, based on this, since it is such a complex issue, I think we really do need to support the members of our community who are trying to protect their homes and their families. I know they've also had multiple break-ins on their driveway. Of people trying to get into their home, people stealing plants from their front yard. So I'm in support of these walls. I actually live right next door, and I haven't had as many people in my yard as they have. So I think based on the position of their yard and the context of where the house is, I think context is really important in this scenario as far as us living in this community, to see that this is actually a big issue and the walls are really important to keeping their home safe. So I would please take that into consideration as you guys make your mind. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You're welcome. Any other members of the public that would like to come forward regarding item 21 at this time?
Does that include us? Yeah.
Sure. Yes, absolutely.
Hi, I'm Ariana Alkire, and we live at 219 North Morton Boulevard over in the Loma Terrace.
So we've been through obviously 2 or 3 hearings now. We're finally to you guys. The last hearing that we had for the variance request, it seemed to me during that meeting that they were actually going to give me the variance request. But there were several people in that board council that felt like you guys should make the decision instead of them. But there's a lot of information that is missing in this packet from what was displayed at that meeting. We have full survey maps that we got done of our property, as well as pictures and comments from the community regarding our property. And none of that is here tonight. I don't think you guys have an accurate representation of kind of what we've been dealing with. As far as the variance being denied, it says there's 18 other corner lots in our neighborhood. I would love for any of you guys to go out and look at those 18 lots. Every single one of them, I guarantee you, has a fence that's either too close to the street, it's too high, or another variance that is not, or another, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Another exception that has been there for a long period of time. Even within eyeshot of my house, their house, multiple of our neighbors, they have fences all the way to the sidewalk. They're too high. I think that I obviously did not get a permit for building this. I did self-perform the work that we're talking about. So I tried to do everything I could to build a fence to protect my family, protect my property, while also allowing the community access without impeding their right-of-way and without inhibiting safety for the community. I think I've done that, but I don't think I've really been given a fair shake as far as proving that my property does have special circumstances, and that because everyone else in our community, out of those 18 corner lots, get to have the same rights of higher fences closer to the street to access their yard and use their yard better, should allow me as well to do that. I feel like I'm the one at this point being discriminated against because I'm not able to take advantage of the same way the rest of our community has. So.
Well, and I do think our lot is exceptional and unique, and I don't think that's being recorded or taken into account. Like, our backyard is way below street level, which requires us to have higher fences to even provide any privacy at all. Our first Christmas in that house, we put Christmas decorations up within an hour, gone. And literally, like Brenna stated, within our last hearing to now, I've already had 2 police reports I've had to file, so it is not safe.
We've had theft from our property again. We've had
truck
people
was broken into last
loitering.
week. It's just, we are very close to the creek. We're not on the creek, but we're very, very close. And it is like a 5-street intersection, so there's a lot of movement. There's kids bombing down that hill. I feel like the wall itself, it provides me more safety and it makes me want to stay there. I feel like if I weren't allowed to have that, I don't know if I would be able to, just because it feels so incredibly unsafe. But I do love our neighborhood. It's beautiful. We have great neighbors. And I really wish the testimonials from our neighbors could have been in here, including Police Chief Galen. He lives on our street, and he was totally in support of our walls. Detective Ridenauer, same thing. I just feel like this doesn't really reflect the necessity of the walls and what our intention was. We have not. I feel like all of these 3 things have been met in our eyes, and honestly, the only reason why it wasn't granted by the variance board is, 1, they couldn't get majority vote because someone was missing, and also there's a few members that want it declared on the record, which it doesn't show anywhere here, that they're only pushing it forward so that the full neighborhood could get zoned and looked at and surveyed, so that appropriate kind of judgment can be made, because it is a unique neighborhood with a lot of different elevations going on.
All right. Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else, any other members of the public that would like to comment on item 21 at this time? All right, I will close public comments. Are there any comments from council members? Council member Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. My question to you guys, did you guys have a contractor that helped you on this?
I stated that I self-performed the work.
Okay, you didn't have a contractor working with you on this?
No.
Okay, and what was the reason why you didn't pull permits?
Excuse me, why don't you step up to the microphone to answer the question so the members of the public that are listening online will be able to hear. Thank you.
So I actually am a contractor as of today. I am a licensed contractor. I own a corporation and operated in Modesto. I have never once in my 15 years as a contractor here gotten a permit for a fence. I never have.
Okay.
I've never had a client actually ask me for one. I don't know if, have you guys ever had permits pulled for fences at your guys' houses?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Has anyone else ever done that?
Well, if it's over 6 feet, you have to have a permit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say that the majority of the citizens of Modesto aren't getting permits for their fences.
Okay, so.
Yeah, but that's just answering your
And
question.
you did some work on the outside and inside of your house too?
Yes, I've done work at my house,
And you didn't pull permits for that either?
No.
And the reason?
I really
As a
didn't see a need
contractor-
for it. I use the best subcontractors. I am one of the best contractors in Modesto. I've had multiple times where the city of Modesto has come out to do an inspection and they have not caught things that I have caught. So I don't necessarily see the city of Modesto as being the authority to me in how to build a home properly. I didn't see it as a necessity at that time to get a permit.
Okay, so you had subcontractors. Did subcontractors build the fence?
I had a masonry subcontractor do that work for me, yes.
And did he ask that if you had a permit?
No.
Was he licensed?
Yes. I've also had a dozen other subs work on my home that are very reputable that did not ask me if I had a permit for the work they were doing.
All right. Councilmember Alvarez, comments?
I just have a comment, no questions. I don't think this is a matter of aesthetics, architecture, or I just think it's a matter of following the rules or not. And I think it's very clear to me that you did not in this case. That's not a question, that's a statement.
All right. Councilmember Bavaro?
So you didn't know that you had to have permits, is what you're saying?
For that scope of work, no. I did not think that I needed to get a permit to build.
Please step up again to the microphone so everyone can hear what you're saying. Thank you.
For that scope, I did not think I needed to get a permit.
Did you remodel your home inside?
I have done some stuff, yeah.
Without permit?
Yes, without a permit.
I had my home remodeled by Jeremiah and some other people. I had to have permits. I mean, that was the first thing you guys told me to do. So I'm a little surprised that you weren't aware of that. Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Wright?
Yeah, staff, he said he had some engineering plans of the fence. Is that correct?
In his variance packet, he did provide a survey of the property, but it did not include engineering plans of the wall itself.
Okay, and have you had a chance to talk to the fence contractor that built the wall to see if they had any type of plans or anything?
So we continue to reach out directly to the property owner for that year period of time, and he did not indicate the subcontractor or plans for the specific fence.
Okay.
At times, he said he was working on them, but they were never submitted.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other comments from council members? All right. Our city attorney would like to make a comment.
And just a quick comment for the council, just again, as Jessica pointed out in the PowerPoint and it's articulated in the agenda report, the question here for this item is whether to grant the appeal or not, and that involves a variance. The findings in order to grant a variance were part of the agenda report. So if either the council, I know the agenda report mentions why staff does not believe that it meets the variance. Any issuance or approving of the appeal to issue a variance would need to make those findings.
All right. So we'll go forward. I have a resolution denying the appeal of Cody Alkire and affirming the Board of Zoning adjustment decision denying a variance at the property of 219 North Morton Boulevard. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
I think I need a motion.
Oh, excuse me. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
All right. We have a motion by Councilmember Wright.
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Ricky. Will the clerk please call the roll for
Clarifying
this item?
question, Mayor, I apologize.
Okay.
The motion is a yes vote would be towards denying the appeal,
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
Okay.
Thank you for asking for that clarification. So we do have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Wright?
Yeah.
Councilmember Escutia Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro?
Aye.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. So the motion carries unanimously. All right, next on the agenda is item 22, a hearing to consider an increase in golf green fees at the City of Modesto golf courses by $2 per round, effective July 1st, 2024, with an annual inflator of $1 per round each year for the next 2 years, subject to annual review, rescinding resolution number 2018-377.
Thank you, Mayor Swallen. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. Lori Smith, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhoods. This evening, as the mayor mentioned, we are going to propose some increase in our golf course green fees. A little bit of background. You may recall in September of 2018, the council approved an increase to our golf green fees that amounted to $6 over 4 years. It was a $2 per round immediate increase and then $1 per year after that through July of 2022. The initial increase of $2 and then the subsequent increase of $1 in 2019 were implemented, but in 2020, as you know, COVID hit and the $1 increase was not implemented. And this, of course, had to do with COVID as well as some ongoing play restrictions and limitations as well as the closure of Muni Golf Course. In 2021, we were still experiencing some of the impacts of COVID, so the increase was implemented at Creekside but not at Dryden. And then in 2022, both courses had the full $1 increase. So the reason for a fee increase is, of course, as I just said, there has been no increase since July of 2022, and I don't need to tell you that there has been a significant rise in the cost of goods and services over the last several years. And as you recall, last week you approved the contract amendment for Brightview, which resulted in an increase in that contract. So the projected revenue for year one at 80,000 rounds of golf a year is $160,000, because remember it's going to be $2, and then years 2 and 3 are projected to generate approximately $80,000. And this is what it looks like: $2 in July of next year. It won't be immediate, and then $1 each year subsequent to that. And one of the things we did is we looked at 5 area courses, and I'll show you that in a second, to compare how this increase compares to 5 courses in the surrounding area. And I already mentioned to you what the revenue would be generated. All right, so we looked at River Oaks, Manteca Park, La Contenta, Rancho Del Rey, and Swenson. And you can see in green is Dryden and Creekside, and those amounts represent what the increase would be. And while River Oaks is significantly less, if you play golf, you know that River Oaks is definitely not a comparable course to either Dryden or Creekside in terms of length and play. And La Contenta and Rancho Del Rey, those are unique courses because they also implement dynamic pricing, which we are not proposing this year, but certainly something we'll be considering in the future. However you look at it, our golf courses are still a good place to play with a very reasonable price, even with this fee increase. Yikes, and this is what it looks like. No. So the resolution.
It's all right, Lori.
It's Joe. He's looking at me.
Stop it, Joe.
All right, so we're asking you to tonight to approve an increase in golf green fees at the City of Modesto golf courses, $2 a round effective July of 2024, and an annual increase for the next 2 years of $1 each. And of course, we'll need to rescind Resolution 2018-377.
All right, thank you for this report.
Thank you.
Does council have any questions of staff regarding item 22? Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Lori, for your presentation. We're going to miss you. My question to you, we do give seniors a discount, correct?
That's correct. Okay. Seniors, juniors, and disabled.
And is their increase going to be the same dollar amount as everyone else?
Everyone will be experiencing an increase, but seniors and juniors will still be paying significantly less.
And you know what the percentage is? Is it 10% or 15% or 50% or?
Do you know what the percentage increase? No, but of the.
Is it a?
Just as an example. Just as an example, 18 holes during the weekday was $27. Now it's $28 at Dryden.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from council members regarding this item? All right. I will now open the public hearing. Are there any members of the public that would like to come forward regarding item 22? Each person has 3 minutes to speak. I will close public comments. Any council member comments? All right, I have a resolution approving an increase in golf green fees at the City of Modesto golf courses by $2 per round, effective July 1st, 2024, with an annual increase of $1 per round each year for the next 2 years, subject to annual review, rescinding resolution number 2018-377. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Williams, second by Councilmember Escutia-Brayton. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Escutia-Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. The motion carries unanimously. Are there any matters too late for the agenda? Seeing none, I am calling this meeting of the City Council to be adjourned.